Gianluigi Donnarumma, Alex Meret, Salvatore Sirigu, Francesco Acerbi, Alessandro Bastoni, Leonardo Bonucci, Giorgio Chiellini, Giovanni Di Lorenzo, Emerson, Alessandro Florenzi, Leonardo Spinazzola, Rafael Toloi, Nicolo Barella, Federico Bernardeschi, Federico Chiesa, Brian Cristante, Jorginho, Manuel Locatelli, Lorenzo Pellegrini, Stefano Sensi, Marco Verratti, Andrea Bellotti, Domenico Berardi, Ciro Immobile, Lorenzo Insigne, and Giacomo Raspadori. Those are the 26 men that will represent Italy at Euro 2020. And here on the Calcio Guys with Adriano and Leonardo, I'm Nicholas Di Giovanni. We have our friends from Pizza Calcio, Billy and Mo, joining us today. How's it going, guys?
Italia is on fire. Italia is on fire. Italia is on fire.
Everybody's
for having us, boys.
Let's go.
What's up, guys? How's everything?
9 days.
9 days away.
You guys are ready? Like emotionally ready?
I don't. When I see that crowd in the Stadio Olimpico, I don't know. I don't know if I'll be ready. I might shed a tear.
Billy's been ready, but I mean, Adriano, as you know, as a fellow Milanista, I'm still coming down from that stressful week a couple weeks ago. So I'm getting there though. I'm almost there.
Yeah. You got some time. About a week away. I don't know, guys. I know we're excited here. We're excited to have you guys on to do a little preview show. And where do we start? With the squad, I guess. We'll start with the squad.
So we'll go position group by position group. So I said the 26 names. I'll repeat them quickly. We'll go position group by position group. We'll rate we'll give a rating out of 10. We'll talk about some players who deserve to be there or maybe don't deserve to be there, who should have been in. Before we get started, though, we had an interesting comment from our friends at the Calcio Podcast. This was probably Sam who wrote it. He wrote to us on Twitter. He said, "Let's all remember not to freak out over a handful of notable exclusions. No point getting the pitchforks out over guys like Politano, Mancini, Pessina getting cut. We're a top side, and sometimes we have to cut the top players." I agree with that. I saw another comment on social media today. It was an Italian saying, why make all these discussions over guys who are not going to even see the pitch, right? So we're all gonna have our opinions, but at the end of the day, we got to support Italy. We know it is a good team, so that's what's exciting about it.
If Politano's if he's making the difference between us getting to quarterfinals, then we got bigger problems than that.
Honestly, I love Politano on the team and Mancini, obviously personally, but when I was looking at the roster, I couldn't figure out who I wanted to cut out. So I think this team is just so deep. So I agree with you guys.
Yeah. I remember we were talking about it just the other day, me and Nicholas and Johnny in our group chat, or just me and Nicholas personally, and it's like and we're trying to play like Monday morning quarterback, like who's going to be cut, who's not going to get cut, you know what I mean, guys? And we thought it would be other names. I think most people have their eyes on probably Toloi as a guy that probably would have been cut, seeing that he just got the citizenship and the whole right to play for Italy like about 6 months ago, guys, and he's leading. He's going to be not even right, so he's going to be included into the in this major tournament. So I don't know if we're going to go talk about Politano quickly. I personally think he deserved a spot. I understand that there is a lot of competition in our attack, especially on our wings. Would he have found a spot come the tournament? I don't know, but I definitely do think he merited at least a call up for this tournament.
So
I think I'm most disappointed about Moise Kean, though. That's
we'll
that's
get
the
into
guy
it.
I really would have liked.
We'll get into it.
Yeah.
We'll start with the goalies, and we'll work our way down to the attack.
Let's do it,
and we'll go from there.
Yeah, this is the easy one. The goalies, Donnarumma, Meret, Sirigu. I mean, pretty easy. We knew from a long time that Donnarumma was going to be the starting goalkeeper. The only question was who was going to be the backup, who was going to be a third string. I'm not surprised with Sirigu going there just because he has that veteran presence. He was on the 2012 team. He was on the 2012, 2014, and 2016 teams as a third string. So just that leadership.
To that point, though, I mean, why not Buffon? That third keeper. Like, are they going to get in? Probably not. There's high likelihood they won't. So I don't know. I mean, if you want to go experience, I wonder that would have been nice. I think to get him one more major cup before he hangs him up, probably. But that's stuff for leadership. That we're not going to see on the field. That would have been nice, I think, but I don't really feel strongly.
Yeah. I hope Mino Raiola is going to let Gigio play. I mean,
I have to start throwing the dollar bills at him again.
I know.
The euro bills.
I know. I hope
We'll
they don't got to negotiate a contract for the Azzurri. Hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. I just hope he plays with a clear head. We know Gigio is obviously been mentally weak. We've seen it in front of our eyes. These past couple of weeks, and even in the past. He's still young. I know it's no excuse, but if he wants to, well, he is the future for the Italian national team, especially for the goalie position. So, I think he needs to be ready. He needs to put that aside and focus on the Azzurri and this major tournament. This is a nation we haven't seen in 5 fucking years, guys, in a major tournament. This is a long time coming. And these guys need to be ready. So, like Nick said, I think they were all locks, the three of them, for the goalies, Donnarumma, Meret, and Sirigu. For me, the Buffon, maybe as a third, whatever. For me, it's 4 quarters for $1 for Buffon or Sirigu. It's the same. For me, it's the same role, same type of role at least. Maybe Buffon brings a bit more passion. I don't know, but I think the locks were on the goalies from a while back.
Yeah. I mean, look, the thing is with Gigio is obviously he's a starter. He's going to go out there. But, Adriano, you saw it. That second half of the year with Milan, he came out a lot from the net. And he was he did not control the ball really well whenever he came out of the net. I think that's something that hopefully he kind of fixes a little bit going into this tournament. He's only got a few weeks to do so. I don't know what it is. I think maybe it was just a focus thing. I don't know, but he got caught out a few times that were just like really strange plays, bizarre, that he really shouldn't have been. And we can't be affording mistakes like that this summer. So he's got to clean that up, I think.
No, definitely agree. He's gotten better, but listen, guys, he's still 22 years old. This is like his first big shot on the international stage to really prove with the big boys and the big nations, right? So. It should be exciting. Out of 10 guys, what do we give the goalies?
I'm probably sitting at a 7 or 8. I think it's strong, and I'm confident. I'm confident in Gigio at this point. I'm not worried about this position.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm going 8 or 9. I think Gigio is very close to world class, if not world class, and behind them doesn't really make too much of a difference. So I think 8 or 9 based on just Gigio and his current performance.
I'm gonna have to go.
Yeah, I would agree. Sorry, Nick, go.
I was just gonna say I'm gonna have to go with a perfect 10, just because if we're looking at Italy, you can't get much better than this. This is your best trio of goalies. Donnarumma's your best goalie, so. For me, you can't go any better, so that's why I'm giving it a 10. If you're going to compare it to other teams, maybe it's a different story. Maybe it is closer to an 8 or 8.5. But yeah, that's my score. Adri?
Yeah, no, it's a good way to look at it. I wouldn't have thought about it that way. I think in Italy we're lucky to have quite a few good promising goalies in the past. Now, obviously, another name, Cragno. Was surfacing around. He obviously got cut, but he's another young, bright goalie. So I would probably give it a 9. I'm confident in Donnarumma. I know Milan fans are up in air about Gigio at the moment, but if we're putting that stuff aside and we're talking about Italy, which that's what we're doing, I'm pretty confident in Gigio. I just hope he can, like I said, stay focused, and I think he's got a good team in front of him. So I'm going to give the whole group a 9.
Gianni couldn't be with us today, but he did send us a voice message for each of the groups, so this is what he had to say on goalkeeping.
Goaltending-wise, I would give it a 9 on 10. Preferably, I would rather Cragno over Sirigu, but then again, it's going to be the third-string goalie, and I doubt to get any playing time. So hopefully, hopefully not, actually. So I had to give it 9 on 10. That's just a one little change, but then again, Sirigu has experience over Cragno. So, I mean, it offers, it's nice to have that for the team. I mean, like, he has some experience to offer.
We did get one question about goalkeeping on social media from our friend Alex Koutras. He said, if I'm not mistaken, Sirigu has the worst save percentage in Serie A this season. I don't have my notebook on me. Like when I was on the show, someone will have to fact check that for me. And it's true, he did have the worst save percentage in the Serie A this season, but I really don't think that's on him. I mean, when you're playing for Torino, like the best goalie in the world is going to have the worst save percentage. It's Torino, so we can't look into that too much. Defense, Acerbi, Bastoni, Bonucci, Chiellini, Di Lorenzo, Emerson, Florenzi, Spinazzola, Toloi. This is interesting, especially at the wing-back positions, because this is where Mancini had to make decisions. I don't think so much at center back. Sure, Mancini could have included Mancini instead of Toloi. That's weird. Mancini cut Mancini. I don't understand that one. But the wing back, especially on the right side, you had Florenzi, Di Lorenzo, and Lazzari. And so Lazzari was the odd man out. I don't mind Di Lorenzo and Florenzi. I like that. I know Lazio fans will say Lazzari. I know Billy, as a Roma fan, you're not gonna agree with that. You're gonna obviously prefer Florenzi, but it's a nice problem to have. Those are 3 quality players.
I love Lazzari. I probably would have tried to find a place here for him. I also love Calabria, but I think he is out with an injury. I don't know. I like our center backs. Obviously, they're a little old. I think Chiellini and Bonucci are going to get the start. I want to see a lot of Acerbi and Bastoni, though, honestly, throughout the tournament. Right back, I'm a little worried about. And, left back, I think we'll see a lot of Spinazzola and Emerson, too. But I don't love where we're at in these spots.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give. I mean, I give it an 8 or a 9 on selection. Maybe you could have wanted Lazzetti over Toloi, just in terms of the squad. But I think from the choices Mancini had to make, I think he made the right ones. I agree with Billy. Like, I'm not super excited about this group. I think what's really exciting is Bastoni. I think he gives us something that we've been lacking in defense for a number of years now. What I'm not excited about, again, is that right side. I was really pumped for Calabria to come in this year. I think he's playing almost world-class level at the right back position. I think it would have been really exciting to see him this summer, but it's going to have to wait until the World Cup. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, no, Billy, did you have a rating on 10?
I honestly, I think center backs, I'm sitting more 6 to 7. I think right back, left back, I'm sitting more 5 to 6. So I'm gonna say 6.
Wow, okay.
Better than average. I'm just not excited about. I'm not excited about these guys right now. I hope they change my mind.
How do you rate Mancini's decisions though here?
Oh, I think his decisions were probably a 7. I think Toloi was. I think the fact that he's a little more versatile than Mancini maybe, and he could play center, and he's played a lot of right too. I think maybe that's the reason for that. I do really like Lazzari and his speed, though. I would have probably found a place for him on this team.
Yeah, so those are good points, and I'm glad you brought up the versatility of Toloya. I think that was like the one thing that was in the back of my mind personally. That was like, listen, if they're gonna cut at the center back position, like it was a real toss up for me. I know everybody was pointing towards Toloy because of everything we already mentioned, but the fact that he can be a bit more versatile in case Mancini decides to change things up, I don't think he will, but just in case, as like a security blanket, I understand the move. It was unfortunate for Mancini. I think he had a pretty good season, to say the least, at Roma. But in terms of the center backs, guys, it's the usual suspects. I think if they can stay fit throughout the tournament and stay consistent, we'll probably be seeing a lot of Chiellini, Bonucci. Even though I think I would rather see Acerbi in there and even a bit of Bastoni. I think this is a time to get some of these younger guys their feet wet. Right? This is a big tournament. It means a lot. There's a lot riding on this tournament, but I think it's also gives a lot of players experiences that they didn't have in the past. They might not have in the future, and we don't know where they stand. So I'm okay with the center back decisions. I think again Mancini for Toloi or for any other names that could have been thought of. I think those are just casualties, so it's fine. In terms of the wingbacks, I actually don't mind them too much. I agree with Mo. Obviously, a lot of Milan fans, thinking Calabria. It's unfortunate how he ended the season with the injury and just maybe playing injured as well. So we didn't get to see him in this tournament. Lazzari, I've always loved as well. All our Laziali friends know that. And it's unfortunate, but I think he went for Lorenzi just from the sure hands. He's a vet. He's been in tournaments before, so I don't have the huge problem with that. And on the left back, for me, it was always going to be Emerson Palmieri and Spinazzola. I think they might flip flop throughout games. I don't know, but again, guys, we have guys who have won trophies. In this defense, we see the Juventus pairing that they've had a history of winning. Bastoni comes off of a Scudetto, Emerson off of the Champions League with Chelsea. So they're bringing these experiences from their clubs and bringing it to the national team, which I love. So if I had to give it out of 10, I'd probably say about an 8, like 7.5, 8. Probably leaning more towards an 8. I think. Like, where else could we have went? You know what I mean, guys? Like, I think like this is kind of what it was. So we couldn't have been too high or too low on these choices, and that's kind of how I see it for the defense.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give a 7.5. For me, the real question mark is a center back. We know it's likely gonna be Chiellini and Bonucci, and as a Juventus fan, I find. When they're really good, they're really good. They're like now, especially Chiellini. Like this season, when he was at the top of his game, he was, back to prime Chiellini.
He was old school Chiellini.
He's an old school player, hard on tackles, everything. Bonucci, he plays best with Chiellini. But when they're off their game, or they are older, it's likely that they could get. There's a bigger chance to get injured. When they're off their game, they struggle. And so I hope Mancini really rotates those center backs,
I agree.
Especially in the group stage. Not that the group stage is easier, but these games aren't do or die like in a knockout round. So you rotate the center backs, you kind of see who's good. You're gonna have a Acerbi who's gonna be playing on his home pitch. So I'd like to see Acerbi. I'd like to see Bastoni at least get a couple of games starting, and that's a Juventus fan, and I love Bonucci and I love Chiellini, but you can't rely on them for 7 games out of the tournament. You can't. It's going to be heavy on them.
I agree, especially at this age. At this point of their career, Chiellini, we've seen him slow down. He's had injuries this season into last season as well. I agree. But the only thing is, he is the captain. He has to take this tournament by the horns.
Yeah.
And he has to really has to fight and put it all out on the line because, like I said, guys, there's a lot riding on this tournament. So if he's the captain and if he's going to be the captain throughout the tournament, he needs to take it by storm. And I do agree that I think Chiellini can probably play off of somebody else. Whereas I don't know how much of Bonucci is going to shine if there's not Chiellini next to him.
Oh, exactly.
If that makes sense, right, guys? So if it's going to be that they're going to have to make a double rotation in the group stage, like at center back, and put Bastoni with Acerbi instead of like just taking out one of Chiellini and Bonucci, so be it. I mean, I'll take it. I think these are the times, like Nick said, in the group stage to kind of experiment. Nothing too crazy, guys, but at the same time, like we need to stay fresh come knockout stages, and if we're riding on what everybody else is believing, this team can go far, and can be a dark horse. So I think the rotation by Mancini and the smart play by Mancini is going to be key.
I'd like to see. I'd like to see Mancini make a statement here and get Bastoni starting from the get-go. I think, with a young kid like that, you're going to have to get him in rotation, get him
and just to get the confidence up, guys. Just to get the confidence up, guys. Like
Chiellini, Bonucci,
anybody that knows. Yeah, exactly, right. And they've been here before. It's more these younger guys that and I think we're grateful enough to have the Azzurri pretty young. So I don't know. The confidence needs to be there, and the faith needs to be there, and the trust needs to be there by Mancini. But Nick, sorry, you were going to say something?
No, just we got a question on social media from the Calcio boys. Starting center backs. Mo, you pretty much answered half of that. So you say Bastoni. Who else?
Probably got to go. I mean, I probably would go Bonucci. My head is telling me that, like Adriano said, pairing Bonucci with a guy like Bastoni might not be the best idea, but I feel like I feel a little bit too much is in motion if we're putting Bastoni and Acerbi out there to start from the get-go. I think I'd like to see if Bonucci can play off someone like Bastoni. If not, make that switch pretty quickly. But that's kind of where I'm leaning. What about you guys?
That's fair. Billy, what are you thinking?
I mean, I would love to see Chiellini and Bastoni together, the old and the young kind of. I think
that'd be nice.
I think Mancini's going to play it safe though, and I think it's going to be the old guard of Chiellini and Bonucci, because I think Adriano touched on it that Acerbi and Bastoni are kind of a package, and Bonucci and Chiellini are kind of a package. It seems leading up to this game is what Mancini's been doing. I don't want to see much of Bonucci this tournament, honestly. I'd rather see more Chiellini and Bastoni, and I'm an Acerbi fan too. I think he's really good, so I'd rather see those three guys mostly. But
I agree with that. The issue though is I believe Chiellini and Bastoni are both left-footed, right?
That's the big issue with our center backs. You go on Twitter and you go on social media. You jump in on other podcasts or listen to other people to speak about the Azzurri, and that seems to be the one thing that's like, we don't have enough. What is it, left-footed or too many left-footed backs or right-footed? Sorry, whatever. And it's like, guys, I don't know. I understand where people are coming from with that, but for me, like that, that goes so technical and goes so nitty-gritty where it's like, just let these fucking guys play. I understand the movement of the ball and how things work coming out of the back changes when you're on your off foot. I still put faith in these guys. These are professional athletes at the highest level in a major tournament. And if they're not going to be doing it now, when are these guys going to do it? That they can make a pass with their other foot. So for me, I don't know. I don't want to dive in too deep on that because I know the risk and reward with that, but at the same time, I think if a pairing is on fire, or if they have the good chemistry, just ride that out. I think, but I do agree with Nick. What Nick mentioned earlier, the rotation and getting these guys ready at all times. I think just by sitting on the bench is one thing, but actually getting in there is another. And I kind of agree with saying, maybe Chiellini and Bastoni, but don't count out Acerbi too. This is another leader, an older guy who has made, big steps these past couple of seasons, is a warrior on and off the pitch. So I have no problem putting my faith and trust in a guy like Acerbi as well. If it's him taking kind of more of that leadership, captain or older guy type of role. So
yeah. And I say start with Chiellini and Bonucci, and then take it from there to start with the old pairing.
Guys, I dream of that Bastone assist against Juve that he had to Barella. Oh my God!
Hopefully we'll see it.
That's when I think of Bastoni and the Azzurri, I just think of him doing something like that. I'm like, oh man, we need to play.
That's gonna be going back to 2016. Fucking Bonucci at Giaccherini. Giaccherini fucking puts it away. That first goal there. So we'll see, guys. We'll see. I'm excited. We'll see. I guess we'll move on to the midfielders though.
Yeah. Mid, Barella, Bernardeschi, Chiesa, Cristante, Jorginho, Locatelli, Pellegrini, Sensi, and Verratti. So this is on the UEFA website. They listed Chiesa and Bernardeschi as midfielders. If you want, you could consider them forwards, whatever. Doesn't really matter. They're on the team. We'll talk about them now. I'm going to say a little asterisk with this group, because if you look at the official team photo of the Azzurri, if you look closely, Matteo Pessina is in the photo, and
I saw that,
and he's wearing number 27, and you're kind of wondering why. And I read a couple of people on social media saying if Sensi or Verratti aren't ready to go by next Friday, because you could remove players until your first group game. If they're not ready to go, Pessina is going to come in. So we'll keep an eye out for that. So he's still with the group apparently. I was so confused when I saw him in the picture. I have a feeling if between Sensi and Verratti, it's going to be Sensi that's going to be the one out for injury, because it seems like Verratti is more stable in his recovery. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that. But interesting group. I mean, we know who the starters are. We know who the midfield is. I think the debate comes with the secondary players. What do you guys make of this group?
10 out of ding, 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 ding. This is, I mean, it's, they got Azzurri being driven by their midfield. That's not a new concept, and I don't think it's any different right now. These guys are studs. I don't think there's any other way around it.
Mo, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I gotta agree. I think you said we're including Chiesa.
Well, if you can or you cannot. I personally, I'm not, because I don't see them as that. Okay. But if you want, you can. If not, it's fine as well.
Yeah, regardless, I think it's totally right. I think I've seen some people saying Sensi too injury prone, should have been left off. But come on, we're talking about a tournament here. It's not a full season campaign. Sensi definitely deserves to be here. I think this is 10 out of 10 as well.
So we're all going Barella, obviously. Might be I think who's going to make a name for himself even bigger than he is this tournament. Jorginho, and then before, obviously Verratti, but is it Locatelli in the meantime?
I would think so. I
would think so. It seems like.
Unless it's Pellegrini, but I don't think so. I feel like just the run of form that Locatelli has produced, I think he deserves maybe a spot if it's not Verratti or Sensi, if they're injured or whatever. But again, like what Nick said about this whole Pessina point, I saw him in the photo, I saw him in the nice Armani jacket, but I had no idea what the hell was going on. So that's definitely something else to look out for. I think Pessina for me was a bit of a on the cusp of, obviously cut or not cut for me. But if we're talking about the names here, I think everybody was excited about our midfield. And I think that's the one point where we're like, maybe besides like goalie, like the goalkeepers, but I think this was like one of like maybe not the players being like locks, but just as a unit being like the driving force behind this team and this in this tournament. So I think there's a lot of excitement with this group. I think they've played well. They showed that they can hang, amongst other teams. So I'm confident with this. I've always said I've been a huge fan of Barella. He's since his Cagliari days. I mean, I'm a bit bitter that he's at Inter, but you can't knock his talent. You can't knock his hustle, his drive. He was voted, obviously best midfielder in the Serie A this season, and I think he deserves the credit. Like Billy said, if he already hasn't emerged, I think he will even more now. I do agree with that. I think he'll definitely be turning a lot of heads. And you know what? I'm confident with Jorginho. I love the passion that he had after winning the Champions League. And like he said, now it's on to the Azzurri, and now it's on to do this with the Italian national team. And if he can bring that hunger and that fire and that drive to this tournament, I think our midfield group will be even more electric. I'm fingers fucking crossed for Verratti. It seems like this guy can never be healthy for a damn tournament for Italy. PSG, it's fine. But, with the Italian national team, it seems to be a different story. But again, it's nothing against him. I just hope he can be present. This is his tournament, I think. He's getting up in age as well, close to, I think, 30. So, this is his tournament. He hasn't really shined in one before. He's a leader. He has experience. He's a vet. So he definitely needs to, if he's there and if he's fit, he needs to be on top of his game. So I would probably say 9.5, 10 as well. Why the hell is Cristante there? I'm sorry, Billy, but what the fuck is going on? Like, I would have rather Cristante wear that 27 than Pessina, if I'm honest. Or I would have invited other guys. For me, Cristante, I don't know. It brings me like Thiago Motta vibes, like from back in the day. I don't know, but.
Maybe he'll move to Canada. Maybe he'll move to the Canadian national team.
Yeah, well, you know what? We'll take him with open arms. But for the Italian national team, I think he's better off, at home. But again, I'm confident with the group. Again, I like Locatelli there. Like he emerged, like I said. Pellegrini too is another name that, Billy, you probably know better than me. But at Roma this season, taking the responsibility as a captain. And, Roma didn't have the greatest of seasons, but he might have been one of those bright spots in the campaign. I think him being included is right. And he just brings that flexibility to come off the bench, I think, if need be. So, but I think our starting three is pretty much a lock, barring, the injury, debacle with Verratti and Sensi.
The only thing that worries me, though, is, with Locatelli in the starting three, I think we lack that regista role a little bit. I think we have a lot of really solid, standard midfielders and defensive midfielders, but I can't convince myself to start Pellegrini over Locatelli. I think he fits better alongside, Barella, Verratti or Verratti-Jorginho type pairing. But I do think that's going to be something to watch for early on.
I would like Mancini to kind of, start the game with, let's say, Locatelli, and then I think Pellegrini is going to be the most effective. Once you get the feel for a game and maybe you need some creativity, some playmaking, then we kind of sub in Pellegrini. I think that's where he's going to be. I think that's where he's going to be most effective. Yeah. And then to defend Cristante, I think it's more of a versatility play, kind of like Toloi, where he can move around a little bit. But if we're seeing Cristante a lot, I don't know where we're gonna go.
Oh no, I don't think we will. But just his name there. Last night, if anybody caught the special on the ride, the Notte d'Azzurra there, what a party that was! But when I saw Cristante there, I was like, okay, maybe we should turn this off. I don't know, but because look, I'm looking at our boy Mas Richo. He commented, biggest surprise, Cristante. Biggest disappointment, Cristante. So I think that sums it up for him selected. Nick, what do you think?
Yeah, you guys all made some excellent points there about the midfield. I'm gonna have to give it a 9 out of 10. Like, yeah, sure, we don't like Cristante there. Maybe we would have taken Piscina instead, but in reality, like, these are our best midfielders and they're very good. You know, besides Piscina, like, who else is there? There's not that many good players you could really consider. So I have no problem with it. I realized before, Gianni, I didn't play his clip for defense, so I'm going to play his clip for defense and mid back to back then.
Defensively, my only question mark is Toloi, but then again, I doubt he gets most playing time. Maybe he might get a game or two in a group stage, or maybe be used as a sub. We all know that's going to be the usual suspects anyways. It's going to be Emerson, Bonucci, Chiellini, and then on the right he's going to probably use Florenzi or Di Lorenzo. So defense, I give it an 8. Midfield, I mean, since he hasn't played most of the season, Verratti, rumors that he's probably going to be injured to not even go. So, I mean, you could have added different players just for the safety of it, but then again, Mancini probably knows something that we don't, and we boast the best mid in Europe right now. So I'd give the mid about maybe an 8.5 rating on the choices. Obviously, a lot of people are irritated that, like, Piscino is left out, for example. I'm happy Locatelli's there, so that's a nice addition.
So now we'll move on to our forwards, and I think this is the most controversial group at the depth position, because we knew
the sleeves up.
And we knew Immobile and Bellotti were going to be our two number 9s. Number 9, number 17, but realistically, they both play the number 9 position. So Bellotti, Berardi, Immobile, Insigne, and Giacomo Raspadori. We didn't talk about Bernardeschi and Chiesa as part of the midfield group. We'll talk about them there. But the biggest surprise here is Raspadori. I know, when he was included originally in the 33-man team, I was like, okay, he's going just to be part of the senior team. He went off to the U21 Euros. They lose in the quarterfinals against Portugal. I really didn't see him, being part of this group. I mean, good for him. He probably won't play that much, to be honest. He does play as a striker. I could see him play as a winger too, so he is a bit more versatile. Here on the Couch, guys, we would have loved to have Caputo on. Unfortunately, he was hurt for most of the season, and if this tournament was a year ago, Caputo would have been a lock for the tournament. And unfortunately, he didn't have as good of a season. It sucks. His teammate is going instead. But yeah, some questionable decisions here. No Ken, Bernardeschi on. What do you guys make of it?
Fuck, guys, where do you want to start? This is where it all came out on social media. We saw the explosions throughout social media. I don't know, Billy, what'd you make of the selections? And we got some questions concerning like the attack and like who was left out and who was like taken. But we'll get into that a bit later. But what'd you initial thoughts on the selections?
I mean, okay, so Ciro, Bellotti, Insigne, Chiesa. I mean, those are our guys, right? You knew they were going to be on it. I mean, I know Bernardeschi loves to play well on the national team. I'm so over Bernardeschi. I guess he deserves a spot on the team. I probably wouldn't have picked him, but I can't criticize Mancini. Berardi, okay. I get Raspadori. I get wanting to get a young kid like that some experience, but I would have loved to see Politano. I would have loved to see Moise there. I just think they just give you a little more. I think Politano could have been a nice contributor on this team, and I'm kind of disappointed about him. I go back and forth though on Chiesa and Insigne, and I would rather see Immobile over Bellotti. I don't mind them right now. I see Chiesa having a big tournament, honestly. So I'm probably sitting at a at a 7 on the forwards. But it changes every day. I don't really know. I don't really know how I feel. What do you guys think? I don't know.
Mo, what are you thinking?
Look, I love Mancini. I think Mancini is a phenomenal coach. I think he's brought the Azzurri back to where they should be. I think that I personally would like him to coach Milan someday after the great Pioli. With that said, I think this Raspadori Moise Kean situation there's something more to it, because I think it's just absolutely idiotic. You look at Raspadori, Serie A, 27 games, 6 goals, 3 assists. You look at Moise Kean, 26 goals in League One. 26 games in League One, 13 goals. Over double the goals. His goals per minute way down, way lower than Raspadori. He's taller than Raspadori. He is faster. He can come in late in the game. I mean, for me, Raspadori, he's not going to play, right? Like he's going to be a guy that we really shouldn't see him playing unless we're up big on someone. And so for me, his use case is essentially nothing. Like I don't think he can come in a meaningful game and help us out. I think Moise Kean can come in the 70th minute against a really great team like Germany or England and just absolutely blow the top off the defense and give us something dynamic, give us something that we didn't have for the first 70 minutes. So I think with that said, like if this is something about personality and Mancini doesn't like working with him, like it's something that I think, if that's the reason, then you got to get over it because it's what's best for the Azzurri. It seems like Moise Kean is well loved by the other players. He does a great job at PSG. You don't hear too much from him. They went far in both. Granted they didn't win League One. They still finished second. They had the most goal differential. They went far in Champions League. He played a major part in both of those. 3 goals in 9 games in the Champions League. Like that's the competition that you want to be using to prep for something like the Euros. And so I think considering all that, I don't get it. I give him a 6. I think that's a huge miss. I think that is a 4-point deduction type miss. Everyone else, I think I'm fine with. Bernardeschi, I think gives us speed. I think we do need to upgrade that position in the future. I think Berardi is great. I think he's the Italian Messi, to be frank. I don't think he'll get in. I don't think he fits this formation. I'm excited for him for club, but I don't think he's gonna do much now, which is fine. But everything else makes sense. I don't agree with the Raspadori decision.
Wow, man, Mo was like really. He thought about this question before we got on, guaranteed, because you spit some fire right there, and you know what? I can't really disagree with you too much. I think for myself. And just looking back or trying to remember like old episodes, like we like episodes in the past that we spoke a bit about the Azzurri. I think for me personally, it was always like, oh yeah, but guys, like Kean, Kean. He brings that versatility. Billy was saying it with other positions, other players in other roles. But like for me, it sucks. I think he deserved the spot. I was a little bit shocked that he didn't make it. Like I got some questions or just some like comments like on our post, like the Bell Bros, like why wasn't Kean selected? The footy culture, no Moise. Like it definitely hit home for like a lot of people, and it really doesn't make too much sense to me either. Mo brought up, obviously, we thought it was due to, the injury, supposed injury that, that's why he was subbed off the game against San Marino, picked up a bit of a knock. If he did or didn't, how bad the injury was or not, how little it was, for me, whatever. We're bringing Sensi and Verratti, who are supposedly injured. I would have fucking brought in Kean as well, you know what I mean, guys? I hate to swear and start bringing like that kind of fire, but I think he deserved to be there. It's you want to go down the we see on social media. I definitely saw some people talking about the attitude issues. Again, he's a young kid. these things definitely need to be still worked on. Maybe that's fine. But if he's bringing the talent that we need, or I don't see another reason why you don't bring a guy like Keane on. Young, gets the experience on the international stage in a big tournament, like I mentioned before. For me, it only screams pluses. I don't know. I don't think we'll see much of Raspadori. Maybe we will. He did have a decent campaign to end off the year, and showed some brilliance. But again, he's another young kid too, which I don't mind the rotation with the young guys. But I just think not being incorporated in the group for very long is kind of another worrisome thing. Whereas we saw Keane, be involved more, played some games, scored some big goals in qualifying. Really started to make a name for himself even more than people already know him as. So I don't want to go down the route of the attitude issues or the whatever problem. I mean, if that's what it boils down to, I think those things need to be addressed. And I think Mancini definitely has a history of controlling those types of things and being more of a father figure, maybe if that's what is needed, or if you need somebody that is in your corner. I don't think Keane is mentally weak. I think he's a strong kid. I'm a big fan, even though he is a Juventino. I don't care. I'll take him for the Italian national team. So I don't know. I'm kind of with everybody else on why he wasn't included. It sucks, but going towards other players, for me, Bernardeschi has been whatever. Say what you want. I'm not a huge fan. He seems to show up for Italy, whereas he doesn't for Juventus. And what are Juventini saying? Watch out for Bernardeschi. So listen, guys. I hope he proves me wrong. I hope to see him produce for the Italian national team. He seems to score. I don't want to see him bragging that he scored against San Marino. There's no San Marino in the Euros, right? So he's got to pull up his socks and really perform well for the Italian national team. And so do a lot of other guys in our attacks, guys. Like, this is Insigne's tournament. This is Immobile's tournament. This is, Belotti's tournament. These guys are getting up there in age. Well, Belotti not as much, but Insigne and Immobile, this is their tournament. Insigne has had a hell of a year. I'm a fan of Insigne. I think he definitely can step up in this tournament. He scored 19 goals this year in Serie A for Napoli, and I think he can definitely transmit some of that to the Italian national team. Immobile just has to be focused. I'm putting my faith in him. We've always been by Chiruz's side on the Calcio guys here, so I'm sticking with that. But I love Belotti too. I love to see them rotate as well. We're talking about rotations earlier. I think these guys need to rotate with the attack. Whoever is hot, you ride with him. If you need to make rotations, that's fine. And Chiesa too, like Billy said, I think this is a tournament where he already emerged when he moved to Juventus. We saw that. And if Gianni would be here, he'd be praising him a bit more. So I might have to do a bit of that for him right now. But Gianni knew it from the get-go about Chiesa, and I think this is the tournament where I think not only will Gianni love him even more, but a lot of eyes will be turning to Federico Chiesa. And I think I also hope for Berardi, because I think this is another guy that's was on the top of the lists many years ago, kind of fell out, talking about attitude issues or hot head. He had that growing up. Especially with the Italian national team, and he was never able to really emerge as a dominant force for the attack for the Azzurri. So I would like to see him, step up in this tournament too if his name gets called. He's had a fantastic season at Sassuolo, and I don't see why he cannot do that for the Italian national team in this tournament. So again, if it's in the group stage and he needs to make rotations, Mancini, I don't see why you don't bring Berardi in. He can produce, he can score, and that's what we need, because you listen to everybody. It's where we fall short is our attack, and I think we have options. It just needs to be consistent and needs to continue on a good path. And I think the guys that we have there are able to do it. So I put my confidence in them. If I give a rating, I don't know. I'm kind of like up in air with this. I'm like 7.5, but that can always change depending on how things go. And I will be happy to eat any of my words if this group gets rolling and gets scoring, early and often in this tournament. So again, guys, I'm optimistic until the end with the Italian national team.
Yeah, with Ken, this injury, like, unless this is like a serious injury or he's out 4 weeks, I mean, yeah, you could have brought him out.
Bring him.
It's a weird scenario. I'm gonna have to give a 7, and I think with the 4 group, it's if they do well, everyone's gonna praise Mancini. But when they get knocked out before the final, if and when, and it's because of a lack of scoring, Mancini's gonna get heat. Oh, you should have brought this player, you should have brought that player. Bernardeschi, yeah, he's awful for Juventus, but for some reason he turns into prime Baggio with Italy. So we're not surprised with that one.
No! Don't ever fucking say that ever again. I don't want to hear it. I do not want to hear that.
We got a question. We got a question from Cliff Esmil 3 on Instagram.
Shout out, Cliff.
Who will be the surprise player of this tournament? I just wanna give my answer before Billy and Mo, but I think it's one of the Sassuolo guys, just because they don't play in Europe. Not many people know who they are, either Locatelli, Berardi, or Raspadori. If I'm gonna pick one of those, definitely Berardi. I think he could be the surprise player of this tournament, where people in Europe are gonna know who he is. Billy, Mo, what do you guys think?
I mean, I think I don't know. Surprise is tough. I think that everyone in Europe will be talking about Chiesa after this tournament. I think we obviously know, we know who he is. But I think he's gonna. I think I don't know why I envision him just going crazy this tournament and just kind of all the energy being all over the pitch. Chiesa, I think, is going to have a huge tournament.
Yeah, I agree with Chiesa. I think, though, I agree with Nick. I think Berardi is going to be the absolute surprise of this team. I think that he could have the type of performances that even makes Mancini consider potentially tweaking the formation a bit mid-tournament to get both him and Chiesa both in the attack. I'm going to go with him. I've loved Berardi's season. I think he's going to continue that this summer.
I hope so, guys. And those are great shouts. I think, and first off, shout out to Cliff. That was a great question. Surprise is really tough, like Billy said. Who we want to break out is a different story. You know what I mean? And if we're talking really, straight surprise, for me, it's tough because I want to lean towards Barella, but like I don't know if that's a surprise anymore, guys. Like that's almost like should be almost a given. Like he's gonna explode this tournament, like Chiesa will as well. Like you guys mentioned, I think these are guys that like many people think that they will, and for myself, I'm fingers crossed that they do. In terms of, I don't know, surprise. I'll go. He gets all the fuck in the world. I'll go with Immobile. And maybe even Insigne to wrap that into it, because I think, like I mentioned earlier, this is their tournament. Immobile. Everybody says Immobile can't score. He scores for Lazio, can't score for when he puts the Azzurri shirt on. Well, you heard it here first, and I hope he fucking covers my back on this. But Immobile is going to be the surprise. I don't want to hear that, this whole stigma he can't score for Italy. He's going to do it this summer. And if it's not this summer, he'll do it in the World Cup the following year, just as a backup plan. You never know. So, but no, I really want Immobile to do well. I think he deserves it. I think he merits the number 9. And, I know a lot of people don't want to put the confidence in him. I'm putting the fucking confidence. If we don't put confidence in our players, guys, who's going to do it? You know what I mean? Like, we have to believe in these players. Like, these are what we have. I know it's not the same as, what we've seen in the past. We like to go back to 2006. People want to go back to the Baggio days. early Totti days, early Del Piero days. We had these legends. We had these guys that, you look back on it and it's like, oh my God, like we don't have anywhere near that. But listen, guys, this is what we have right now, and we have to roll with it. I think if Immobile can score, we'll be in good shape. And I think if it's not Immobile, then I think we're capable enough from other positions to put the ball in the back of the net. In my eyes, and I don't know what the hell Mo just put as his background there.
You're an Eminem
this might have to
fan.
be a clip.
No, man, we gotta. I think we have to talk about this before we leave. What the hell is going on with Bernadeschi's haircut? He's got to change that.
Yo, he's fucking fake some shady, baby. Some shady.
Awful.
Like dipped his head in like lemon or something ravioli. His head looks like a ravioli.
If he doesn't change it, I don't think we can win the Euros if he doesn't change it. I think it really we did all the breakdowns.
Keep it that color, and then just do some green and red on the sides, and we'll be good. I think.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But surprise, I'm sticking to my guns, and I'm going Immobile, and even I'll throw an Insigne there for really needs to surprise a lot of people and step up.
Immobile on his home pitch against the relatively, I think you could say we have one of the easiest groups in the Euros. I could see him starting big. That could be the key. If he starts out big these first games,
he needs the confidence. Like I said earlier, guys, the confidence and the trust and the belief. It needs to be there as soon June 11th. I don't know what time is kickoff. I don't even know.
3
is
o'clock.
It 2:45 our time?
3
o'clock our time, Eastern time, here in the school. As soon as that ball drops and the kickoff, the whistle, these guys need to be ready. There's none of this, no more nerves. Like it's now. And
I've never seen a player's psyche get affected like Immobile. So he just needs to get going from the start.
Yeah. And I agree.
I think it's going to help that it's on his home pitch. It's going to help.
Yeah, I hope so.
He's at home.
I mean, You saw Immobile and Insigne freestyle rapping on Rai with Clementino the rapper.
Clementino, shut up.
There's no way we lose this tournament. Come on, look at those guys.
Good Before we continue, because I have one more question before we end it, I'm going to have to play the clip of Gianni talking about the forward group.
And offensively, I feel like as if we're just it's not the optimal offense that we could have brought up. I'm not big on Bernadeschi, as you guys all know. And, Raspadori with zero senior experience, like I'm not crap talking him. I'm just saying it's kind of suspect to bring a player with zero senior squad experience to a major tournament without letting him play a few friendlies first, at least, just to see how he does. I mean, like he did have I guess he probably liked him in the U21, so maybe that's why. But I mean, Moise Kean, apparently he's got an injury, so I haven't checked into that much, but I would rather him because he offers flexibility. They can play either on the right in a 3-man formation, or if you want to use him in the middle, you can use him in the middle as well. So I would rather him over, let's say, Bernadeschi or Raspadori. But then again, Mancini is the manager. I have faith in him. He's done great work for us, and I'm excited to see what he does. Offense, I'd probably give it a 7.5 rating out of 10. Like I said, I don't think it's our best offense that we can bring, but barring injuries and questionable statuses, I mean, Zaniolo, obviously not having him, it doesn't help. And that's a guy that you can use in the mid or offensively if you need to. So overall, on like, I guess if I average it quickly, I think this roster is an 8 on 10. I'm excited to see what we do. I still believe that we can make semis with this team, but let's see what happens come Euros.
So I just wanted to ask you guys, so looking at this team, so out of 26 players, only 7 are returning from Euro 2016. Chiellini, Florenzi, Immobile, Sirigu, Bonucci, Insigne, and Bernadeschi. Verratti wasn't on that team. He did play on a World Cup team. So out of those guys, Chiellini, this is his 6th major international competition. He was actually on the Euro 2008 team, so this is his 4th Euros. Florenzi, only his 2nd. Immobile, his 3rd. Sirigu, his 4th. I mean, if you want to count him. Bonucci, his 5th. Insigne, his 3rd. Bernadeschi, his 2nd. Verratti, his 2nd. And out of those guys in the tournaments they played in, they didn't really play that much. So there's not a lot of experience on this team. Besides Chiellini and Bonucci, and if you want to count Sirigu, really not a lot of experience. So 18 guys playing in their first major tournament at the senior level. Do you think that's gonna affect them?
Oh wow.
I don't think so, because I think if you look around Europe, I think everyone's pretty young. Like I don't know who are veteran teams. I mean France, I guess, right? But they got all those guys returning from the World Cup. I guess they're the veterans. But Spain's kind of going through the same thing. We are a little bit. Germany's got a lot of young guys. Portugal's kind of got a solid mix. England's pretty young. I don't think it's going to affect us, because I think everyone's kind of going through this little renaissance type thing.
I think too, like this is a COVID Euro, so I think on one side it kind of could help us. We got guys who've been playing for the past year nonstop or year plus. I think young legs is probably something that's going to be pretty important for this tournament, and I think that there's nothing normal about this Euro, right? Like we're playing it a year later, where we're going to play it with maybe some arenas without fans, some with a smaller percentage of fans, like players still coming off a lot of the restrictions that they've been living with for like all of us for the past year. Like there's nothing normal about this, so I really think this is going to be one of those years that it's not going to make as much of a difference. But
said. I agree.
Yeah. Those are good.
To Mo's point, I would say maybe Buffon would have been nice to kind of help this a little bit back to the goalies, but I don't know. Adriano, go ahead. Sorry for cutting.
No, those are great points, and it makes a lot of sense. I understand where people come from. It's like, okay, like we don't have the experience very much. There's a lot of young guys, very few, quote unquote veterans in the lineup. But I think I'm gonna have to lean towards no, that it won't affect them as much, just for the simple fact that this team is so united. And I think that's the one key that in these tournaments, not only do you need the unity, you need the trust in one another. You need some luck as well. That's fine. But I think the unity that this group has created amongst themselves, that Mancini has instilled in this group, I think is almost priceless. So I'm confident with what this group brings, young, old, experienced, not experienced. I think with the brotherhood that they've created, that if you listen to any interviews, they always seem to say, questo gruppo. It's solid, it's close knit. They play for each other, they fight for each other. So, I'm gonna say no, because looking around, these other nations, like Billy said, I think I don't dive too deep into those other nations, but I saw quickly, and it seems to be right. So, I think with the unity and with this experience now, and again, this might be even just a stepping stone, guys. Like I don't want to say blessing in disguise, but like. We have the World Cup 2022. So, this is another, maybe a stepping stone in terms of getting experience for another major tournament, not even a year later. So, for me, I'm going to stick to no. But I do understand where people come from and say, we don't have the experience that maybe other nations or, other clubs have. So, but I'm confident.
Yeah. I agree with the three of you, especially international tournaments. They're rare, right? Not many players get to play in multiple of these tournaments, so
yeah,
it might be a challenge. It might be a challenge. There are a lot of young guys, but they do play enough, club soccer, Champions League, Europa League, and they've played youth levels. They know what it takes to win. Before we let you go, guys. Predictions. Where does Italy finish this tournament?
Oh, fuck.
We've been asking this to every guest the past few episodes, so it's your turn now.
unless you guys are, superstitious, a little scarimantico, I don't know. Like, we don't want to step on any toes,
I'm going to give a little long-term prediction. Ready? Okay.
There you go.
I think we're going to play very well in the Euros. I think we're going to lose in the semis. I think Portugal is going to repeat and win.
Whoa.
I think going into next year, I think going into Serie A, I think Mr. Jose Mourinho is going to lead Roma to the Scudetto, led by Mr. Nicolo Zaniolo. Zaniolo's going to become the best player in the world. And then in the World Cup, Zaniolo, Chiesa, Barella, Bastoni are gonna hold the World Cup up, and that's going to be our new generation. Those four guys leading the way. There it is. You heard it. You better remember this when it happens.
I think we do have.
Oh,
that's amazing.
That's my brother. I gotta apologize. That's not okay. I gotta apologize for that. If you want to cut that out,
I'd rather have the Pizza Calcio Mo's taking the reins on this.
Oh my god!
I tell them this. Roma fans, they take everything so far. It's like, just calm down. Like, don't put so much pressure on it. Like, you don't gotta win. You're not gonna win Serie A next season. You don't have to win Serie A next season. You don't expect you to. Like, come back to just relax.
I'm back there.
Oh, we got the best coach in the league.
All right.
Okay, guys, we'll have another time for that.
I'm gonna say that Italy do it. I think semifinals, is where they'll end up. I think quarterfinals, realistically, I would feel like, I'd feel okay with. Obviously, we want to win it, but I think we have a lot of questions in the attack that, I'm not sure if we're starting Immobile up top. I'm not sure relying on him to be on is a good recipe for going far. So I think a lot of great building blocks. I think if we can make a little push to quarter semis, I'm going to be extremely happy. And I think World Cup, I think we'll be one of the top clubs for World Cup. But yeah, that's my prediction.
I find it so hard with this prediction stuff. Like, oh man, we kind of opened the show with, like, we haven't seen this team in a major tournament in 5 years, so it's a lot of like eye-opening moments right now. And it's, we saw them go undefeated, in qualifying. Fine, many people want to say, weaker competition, so on and so forth. Which, I can agree or disagree with. It's fine. But in the tournament, I mean, I don't know. I see this team. For me, they have to top the group. Anything less than that, for me, is a bit of an eye opener. I think they do top the group. And I think most people's prediction would probably be leaning towards, like Mo said, quarters, but would be happy with obviously the semis. I'm going to stick with that. I think, it's going to get tough, going down the stretch in this tournament. I'm never going to lose faith with the Italian national team. I'll always be optimistic. Grateful for what Mancini has done to revitalize this nation and this country. And again, you look back and, people, these players talking about the tournament and talking about, bringing Italy back to where, they should be. It was a big disappointment in 2018. They want to make a lot of people proud. I personally think that they're kind of being maybe a bit of a dark horse. Maybe, people are not taking them, seriously enough. We see Bleacher Report football, not even include them.
So stupid.
You know what I mean? Like, I saw that on Twitter. I saw the hype and the hot people getting hot about that, not including their squad. So, you know what? Fine. We'll be under the radar. We'll be under the rug. Just call us in the final, maybe. I don't know. You know what I mean? So, but I don't know. If I come down to earth, I do think, quarterfinal, semis. I'm going to lean more towards the semis because I think this team can do it, and I'm staying positive, guys, with this group. And again, anybody listening to this maybe thinks otherwise, definitely let us know. But I'm sticking with my guns. I'm going to say, quarterfinals and hopefully even semis. But again, if they go all the way and they prove like literally everybody wrong, you know we will be celebrating big time. Not only on the Calcio Guys, but in real life as well. So keep your eyes out for that.
Anyways, that'll do it for us. Thanks to Billy.
Nick, we're gonna give your prediction. What do you mean?
Oh, I give it every week. Let's say we go as far as our offense takes us. If Immobile is on fire, we win the tournament. If not, we lose in quarterfinals or even round of 16. So we'll see. We go as far as the offense takes us.
I think Johnny said the same thing as well.
Yeah,
so,
I mean you need that, right? You could have the best defense in the world. If you don't score, you're still going to lose in like penalties or something. You know, I don't want that to happen in 2016.
No.
Bad memories,
knock on wood.
No. 2016, 2008. But yeah, that'll do it. Thanks to Billy and Mo.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks. Enjoy it next Friday. Enjoy it. Don't be too stressed. Make sure to make a lot of pizza. We're gonna look at all the wonderful pizza you put out on Instagram. I swear, like middle of the day, I see you guys, making a pizza. I get so hungry. I wish, you guys, maybe you could ship it across the border or something.
We gotta make something work.
Jeez, it looks so good.
Enough's enough.
We got something special coming too. Be on the lookout. Just in time for the Euros, we're going to be dropping a little Pizza Calcio merch. We're working with one of my good friends named Andrew Colapreti. He comes from Rochester, where we're from, and we got a little Pizza Calcio merch coming specifically for the Euros. So follow us at Pizza Calcio for the latest on that.
Beautiful.
Wow. So guys, you heard
does it ship with the pizza though?
We'll talk. We'll figure that out.
We have to talk. Yeah, enough's enough. I'm salivating every fucking day, bro, with this pizza. My birthday is on Monday, just to say.
Ooh.
So in case you want to maybe ship something, I don't know. We can work it out.
If they win this tournament, we're coming to Montreal. I'm crossing that border. I don't care.
Again, you heard it here first on the Calcio Guys. But guys, honestly, from myself, Nicholas, our boy Johnny, who couldn't make it here tonight, he will be present in future episodes. We can't thank you guys enough for not only coming on tonight, for the continuous support you give us. It really doesn't go unnoticed. We can't thank you guys enough. We love what you guys do. And I think we will be rocking some, Pizza Calcio merch very, very, very soon with this exclusive news that we got on the podcast. So again, guys, thank you so much. And, Forza Italia, I'm fucking fingers crossed. And what else can we say, guys? Follow us on social media at all your favorite social media platforms, podcasting platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Spreaker, wherever you find your podcast, give it a like, subscribe, and we'll be back. We'll be back soon. We'll be back soon. Well, there's a lot to talk about, a lot of guests we want to try to get on, and a lot to talk about concerning the Azzurri and Euro 2020. So we'll be back soon to talk a lot more Italia.
Thanks for listening.
Forza Azzurri, let's go.
Forza Italia. Na, 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 na.
The Calcio Guys is a weekly podcast by Giacomo Raspadori, Gianni Delacoli, and myself, Nicholas Di Giovanni. We want to bring Calcio back to its roots in our communities and share stories from around the world about why we're passionate about the beautiful game. You can listen to us anywhere where you listen to your podcasts, including Spreaker, Google Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, iHeart Radio, and Mixcloud. Give us your opinion on social media at The Calcio Guys on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The outro song is The Last Ones by Jazar.